Alright, so here's an update video on the, what was this? ASUS, let's see, model GL504G. So I was actually able to remove the fan. So what I did was I took these two tools and I slid them both barely in, and then I slowly pushed them closer and closer to the center until it popped it out. As you can see, let me see if I can show you this. I'm going to see if I can somehow make this fan so it's more sturdy again, since part of the propellers did pop up. But as you can see here, there's this notch here that gets caught and it gets held in really strong, and that's why it had to be pried out like that. So I'm gonna see what I can do. Hopefully this will hold up. Let me see here. So the main thing with this is the fan will still work. The main thing is making it stay in balance again. So this part, since it broke not too bad, I can kind of super glue this back together. So I'm gonna hold this. I don't know if you're gonna see what I'm doing because I don't have my monitor on right now that shows me what I'm doing. So hopefully everything is in view. So I'm using super glue right now to hold that piece. Okay, that did work. Okay, so the super glue did hold that piece in place. Clean off the excess. Alright, now this side, because it's missing this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and like glue a piece of plastic there. So let's see what I can do. I'm going to try and cut a thin, small piece of plastic there, about the same size, and then put that in its place. Okay, so it's a very small piece that broke off. So if this happens to your fan, then you'll know how you can fix it. Okay, I got this small piece of thin, clear plastic stuff. This is from a SSD, but I'm basically just going to cut a piece that's very similar in size and shape to that. The fan won't have any issues with stability, so this is more for maintaining the same weight around the fan, so when it spins it won't be uneven and it won't cause like strange vibrations. Okay, so this is about the same size. I need to cut it a little shorter. So this is one of the things that I feel people should learn, is if something goes wrong, that you should be able to figure out ways to fix it, kind of think outside the box. And yeah, so this one we can also replace the fan later, but for now, to make it usable right away, we are going to just replace this broken stuff with a piece of plastic. Okay. Oh, that was too small, I dropped it. Let's dump it back out. I'm gonna have to cut another one because it's so small I lost it. Okay, let me cut another piece of plastic. Okay. Maybe I should hold it with some pliers so I can get a better grip. Okay. Figure out the size, about there. Alright, hopefully I'm probably going to end up dropping it again, but we'll see. Okay, it is still a little bit too big. So let's cut this plastic a little shorter. Sorry, this video is probably boring, but you get to see how I handle stuff when things need to be repaired right away, when people want it turned around right away. And you gotta come up with creative solutions. Okay, so now let's add some super glue to the fan here. Okay. Now we will attempt to place this plastic piece. I might need to use the pliers or something. Let's see if I can do this. Okay. Just like that. Oh, I think I glued it to my finger. We'll see what happens. Yeah, that's not gonna work right. Okay, I think it will go. So I'm squeezing it right now. My finger is going to be glued to the fan, but hopefully the plastic will also be glued to it. And then I'll show you what we got. Oh, there we go. Okay, so it is somewhat holding. I'm going to have to add more glue and then attach the two layers together. Okay, so now we got it in place. Clean that off. Hopefully it will hold up. It's not perfectly aligned, but here you can see. Now we got this fan, so it's, oh, there you go. All right, so the main goal is, again, to make sure that the weight is evenly distributed, so that way it doesn't go crazy and start vibrating all over the place. Okay, let me make sure, put a little more glue to make sure it stays in place. Alright, so as for the noisy fan thing, just like on another model that I've shown, we basically have to add grease into here. Okay, so what I do is I take synthetic Mobil 1 motor oil. You can use any. I don't know if there's specific oil that you would have. You can use for bearings. Whatever you got, just use it. Make sure that it's something that will last a long time. I found this works really well. So I just stick the needle, get a drip of oil onto it. Oh, there's a piece of lint. I don't want that in there. All right, get the oil on there and then just drip it into the bearing just like that. Okay, so because he used the cold air thing, it caused some condensation to build up in there, and the water kind of displaced the grease, and that caused the bearings to kind of seize up. So this should solve the issue. Let's see if I put this back. Make sure. Okay, let me make sure that the glue is all cleaned up and dried. There we go. Okay, so now that we got that, put the bearing in, spin it around. Okay, I didn't push it in all the way yet, so as you can see, I can take it back out. Right, check on it a little bit, it looks good. And then when you're sure it's good to go, you can push it down and it clicks in place. So there you go. So now this fan is clicked back into place with the replaced renewed grease. So you can see it's super quiet, there's no noise. All right, so I'm gonna show an update after I put it all back together. Let me put this back in place so that you can see how to do it. All right, so technically there's this adhesive here that will help keep this metal plate down. So you don't technically need to add some adhesive on top, but you can just to be safe. So here you got that. If you want, you can put a piece of adhesive across this to this heat pipe. But the best way, let's see, do I have this? Okay. So use some really thin tape like this. Don't use the thick packaging tape. I don't know why, but they call those like heavy duty, premium, whatever. But those heavy duty, whatever tapes, they don't stick very well because they keep wanting to stay like flat. So just get some tape here. Okay. So the thin type is better. Okay. And what you do is you cut a thin piece. I don't know if you'll even be able to see, but it's very thin. And then you just cut this into little pieces. And what you do is you stick part of it on the side here. So slide the tape down the side. I use the thin tool to push it and stick it to the side of the fan, just like that. And then fold it over, okay? So once you do that, then you can see I can't even pull that cover up, okay? So that's how you do that. Just get a bunch of those, cut several of those strips out. Same thing, put it over here. Get the thin tool, push it against the fan, and then fold it over. Okay, just like that. All right, so you just get several of those and you should be good to go. Your fan will hold itself in place really well. Okay, just like that. Let's see, we can put one over here. On this side, you can actually reach it with your hand. So if you want, you can get the tape, stick it on the side like this. Hopefully I'm not blocking the camera. And then push it down and then fold it over, push that down. Okay, and that should hold this thing in place. This side, because it's very thin, is kind of more difficult, but you can put this as well. Okay, just like that. I just use my fingernail to kind of crease it over and then fold that. There you go. And you can see this piece isn't going anywhere. And then you can do another one here and another one over there. All right, so just make sure that it holds itself in place really well. All right, just like that. Okay. These sides didn't have the plastic before, so it doesn't really need it, but you can add more if you want. Just like that. Thin tool. Make sure to press it against the wall. Okay, and we got enough for 2 more, so I'm going to just cut this and put it, even though it doesn't need so much support. Oh, make sure you don't tape on top of that. Okay, there we go. And last piece we will put down here. Okay, so now we got all that tape holding it in place. You can see the fan is good. You probably want to test it, make sure it's not going to scrape inside. It's really good. Okay, so now, last bit we got to do is, again, get all these cables underneath. I don't know why they designed it like this. It kind of makes it a pain to do, but that's how they did it, so that's how we're going to have to deal with it. All right, so again, I'm going to take the 2 screws on the side of this fan out so I can lift it up slightly. Okay. Hopefully I won't have to take the heatsink up, but let's see. I think this should allow me to lift it high enough just so I can get that cable underneath. Let's see. It actually doesn't let me move it much at all. Let's see if we can get this cable underneath. Because if we can't, then, I don't know, we're going to have to do it the difficult way. Alright, let's see. Will this cable go underneath? I don't want to have to take it all out again. Alright, can we do it this way? Pop it through here. Okay, so what we can do, we can slide this connector under here, under the heat pipe, and hopefully the cable can, yep, it can slide all the way around the fan, just like that, and there we go. So now we got the cable in the right spot. That's a little cheat shortcut, I guess, so you don't have to take the whole thing out. We will plug this back in. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Yep, okay. Okay, so you want these gold pins, it looks like facing down, if I remember correctly. Don't try and force the connector in if it doesn't go in. There we go, and then just pull it down. There we go. Same thing with the fan connector. We do have to put the wireless antennas, so I'm going to do that first because these will be in the way. Okay, I'm going to double check the video because I'm not 100% sure which antenna was on which side. I think the black one was with the black one here. So make sure to double check the video when we took it out, just in case, because I won't know until I double check that. So let's get this. All these adhesives are in the way. I'm going to roll it over on itself. Let's see, maybe I should stick something to it. I'll roll it over on itself. There we go. And then we got to get these wireless antennas plugged back in. Alright, so the white one, just like every other wireless antenna thing, line it up. I use my fingernail to move it over, make sure it's flush, and then push it down. Okay, when you rub your fingernail over it and it doesn't move around, that's how you know that it's on the connector properly. Okay, and then you can just push it down. Alright, so there we go. We got the antennas back in. Again, I'm going to double check the video in case I'm putting it in the wrong spot. But right now I put the black one to line up with this one and then the white one to line up with this one. I think that's correct. Alright, so we'll plug the fan back in. Pop that in place. Put the adhesive back down here. Make sure these follow the right path. Put the adhesive down. Same thing with this one. And then put the adhesive to hold all those cables in place. Alright, so now we're almost there. We're going to put the SSD back. I'm going to have to rewatch my video before I completely finish. It doesn't really matter if you have the wrong antenna, but the signal might not be as good, so I want to make sure that I have it the way that the factory had it. Okay, so we got that. Put the SSD back in. Don't forget the two fan screws back that we took out from the sides. Hopefully you can see everything I'm doing again, because right now I don't have my screen on showing me what I'm doing. Oops, sorry. Here we go. Put back the last screw. Make sure everything is tightened up. I'm going to check all the other screws. It's probably going to be off camera, but okay. If those two are good, then I think the rest should be good. Okay. So all that's left is to put the battery back in. Okay, so let me see here. Grab the battery. Let me see, I'm gonna stand up and look at my screen so I can make sure you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so we got the battery. Line it up. Drop everything in place. Alright, and then the connector. Make sure the silver part, the metal part, is pushed back, and then just push this connector down. Pull the connector back over. Alright, and we're good to go. Just put back the screws for the battery. Again, there was two at the bottom. Okay. Okay. All right, looks like it's working. So the one thing we need to look for when I turn it back on some models, when you first put the battery back in, you do have to plug the computer back in or it won't turn on. So we'll see if we have to do that for this model. Okay. So we got all of that in place. Now we just want to make sure that when this fan starts spinning, it stays quiet. Okay. So I'm going to zoom back out so you can see everything again. There we go. All right, let's power it up. If it doesn't turn on, then we are going to have to plug it in. Okay, it looks like it's turning on. Keyboard's flashing. There we go. Alright, so let's wait for this fan to start spinning and see what happens. So this is the important one. We got all the fans connected. We'll wait for the CPU fan to start spinning first. It might not run as hot now, so it might take a while for the fans to spin because I redid the thermal paste. Okay, so we got the CPU fan spinning. Okay, that sounds like a normal fan. Okay, GPU fan still isn't spinning because it's not doing anything graphics intensive, but once it heats up enough, it should start spinning as well. And hopefully it'll spin quietly. Okay, CPU fan. Here we go, GPU fan starting up. And it does sound quiet, so I think we got a success. So the main thing is just seeing how you can remove the propellers depending what tools you have on hand. I was going to try and make a special tool that wraps around the whole fan, but this worked, so I'll just stick with that. Okay, so this fan seems like it's good to go. I'm listening to it close, and it's basically the same as the CPU fan. So my repair on the fan propeller blades worked out. It kept the fan blades even, and it's spinning nicely. Alright, so hopefully this video helped you guys. If it did, please like and subscribe because that'll help others find this video. It'll also help me. And thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.